Hey everybody, it's Beth. I grabbed 2 of these packages of beads from Dollar Tree. I strung some of them on this 18 gauge wire. I'm making 2 of these. One of them had 18 beads, the other 16. I trim up the wire and then I use some pliers to twist the end of it so it's a little loop. Take the other end, put that through the loop and kind of fold it over that first one. Trim that up and then bend it into place just so that circle stays nice and closed. So again, I make 2 of those. Next, I take this hanging sign from Dollar Tree, remove the hanger, paint the outside frame as well as a little bit of the inside border with antique white acrylic paint by Folkart, and I also paint the back of that. Once that's dry, I take this scrapbook paper and cut it a little bit larger than the inside part of the sign. I was originally going to use a different paper, but I ended up switching it with this one. I liked it better. And I place it on the inside and kind of just push along the frame to bend the paper and then trim it until it fits inside. I apply Mod Podge to the center of the hanger as well as the back of the scrapbook paper right around the edges to make sure that everything will be adhered when I place that down. I put it on my hanger and then smooth it out with my hands and use my heating tool to dry that layer of Mod Podge. Once that's dry, I apply a layer of Mod Podge to the top of the paper and then dry that completely. And then go back to the beads on the wire and paint those with the antique white paint as well, just giving those full coverage. Next, I'm taking this hat ornament clip that I got from Walmart. I kind of pull it apart because I'll be cutting it in half. So I just take the fabric off and I pulled that bottom piece off. Just cut the main part of the hat right in half and then trim up the pieces to fit again and then glue it all back together. Once I have it all back together, I take black chalk paint and paint the front of the hat as well as that bottom piece. There was also a little ribbon that was going across the front of the hat, which I glued that back on and just trimmed it up on the back. Next, I placed down my beaded rings. The bigger one is on the bottom, hot gluing that on the back and placing it down onto the paper. And then before I added the smaller one, I added some black ribbon, which is more of like a cotton material, and then glued the smaller ring, kind of scrunching that ribbon between the two. And then just fold over the ribbon where the two meet, just to make it look kind of like a scarf, just hot gluing it until I get the scarf shape. I then trim up the ribbon and cut little slits on the bottom all the way across on both of those pieces. Next, I'm taking the hat and hot gluing that on top of the smaller piece. And I should have added the twine hanger before I put all of those on there because I had to lift it up into place by placing a couple boards on the outside of the frame. But I added the twine with some staples, knotted the ends, and added some hot glue. But definitely do that beforehand so you don't have to hold it up into place. And then took some berries and hot glued those to the hat right above the brim and a little piece of greenery. And that is it for this project. Thank you so much for watching.